First, we will pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Mi, homage to Master Sakya Chân Kung, homage to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, and homage to Master Thupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And to the main deity of the group practice today, Jambala, we pay homage. Sumo, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, heads of temples, all disciples present here and over the internet, and our special guest today, Dharma Sister Judy, the wife of the Secretary General of the Coordination Council of North America of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Taiwan. And the accountant to the Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa. Attorney to the Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Jennifer Zhou. The producers for the Illuminating Your Heart TV program of CTI TV Taiwan, Dharma Sister Rebecca Su. Dharma Sister Vivian Sid, the wife of the head of directors of the Overseas Credit Warranty Fund of Taiwan. And Dr. Ryan Zhuang, and Dharma Brother Gao Minglu. Good evening, everyone. How do you do? It is always like this when a person is leaving a place and you have certain feeling about it, about that place. If it is only 3 hours between Seattle and Taiwan, 3-hour trip between Seattle and Taiwan, then we have such a feeling because you can make a trip, make a day trip. Or you can come back anytime. But between Taiwan and Seattle, we need 13 to 14 hours to fly there. And to come back here, it takes about 10 to 11 hours. I don't know how many trips I can make. That every year I would fly over there and come back here and back and forth. And there's always a very touching feeling. In life, we always have either separation while alive or separation at death. There are a lot of things that we can't let go. Usually, you see Grandmaster is always happy and loves to joke around, always very happy. Actually, sometimes it is unavoidable to have this sad feeling. If a person has no feelings whatsoever, then but we're still human beings. We cannot say that we have no feelings at all. One, their faces. Sometimes it's very sad. Let me share a thing with you. I have given a thought for the whole night last night. Maybe I should announce this evening that from now on I would return to the woods. Of course, last night, Golden Mother specifically told me please don't do that. That's what she said. It's not time yet. Just now, when I took my seat here on the Dharma throne, I asked Golden Mother for me to retire. Because if we just put down everything, that the coming days would be better. If we just let go of everything. I told Golden Mother again, seated here. But Golden Mother said, no, it's not time yet. Actually, a human being living in the human world, sometimes they have lots of restrictions. they have scheduled so many programs, so many events. If you live in a society or in the religious world and you continue to walk this path, then you're bound by lots of this. But one day there would be separation, either during life or after death or at death, because that is how a human life is. Whether you put it down earlier or sooner, it is the same putting it down. If you want to live a really relaxed and carefree life, like the wild crane or like a sage, that would be fine too. As long as my yidams or the main deities told me it is time, it is okay, then I would let go of everything. I have the intention to stop everything, and for Simu it would be even easier. It would be easier for her. She could let go of everything. And I also can let go of everything. So just now I asked again, but she told me that it is not time yet, that the time is not here yet. So today we practice yellow Jambala, and we don't need to introduce him anymore because everyone is familiar with him. So it may be better to talk about our life experiences. Grandmaster has a lot of feelings. Normally, Grandmaster is always joking around and laughing and joyful. But inside Grandmaster's heart, there is a very strong and deep feelings. So Bodhisattva is also called about enlightening the one with feelings. So Grandmaster is the enlightened one. But once you're enlightened, you should have seen through everything about the world. But why would he still feel sad and shed tears? But that's because of the emotions or the sensations of a human life. It's a kind of sensation. So when I have to separate with those familiar faces, of course, I would have feelings about it. And here we have lived together for about half a year. And Grandmaster is very familiar with each of these faces, and I have said that in the future, when Grandmaster leaves the world, after I leave, you will never see me again physically. But when you have a very strong feeling toward your guru, then a guru that has such a strong feeling would think of his disciples day after day, every single day. if you suffer hardships or difficulties, Grandmaster would definitely come back to help you. Grandmaster would definitely come back to help you. And Grandmaster would never abandon you lightly, because Grandmaster's vows is never to forsake any single being. Grandmaster is always nostalgic toward many feelings of the past. Say schoolmates, colleagues, my family and relatives, my disciples. Grandmaster is always embracement and always think of them as Buddhas and always have hearts connected, heart to heart, always connected heart to heart. So Grandmaster never wants to harm any single person, any single being, because that's Sravakahood. And the foundation of any spiritual cultivator is that you're not allowed to harm any single being. And you use your best efforts to salvage or deliver sentient beings instead of harming them. And not to harm any single being, that's Sravakahood or arhatship. And then you use all your best effort to deliver or salvage all sentient beings, and that is Bodhisattvahood. So it is very easy to differentiate between arhatship and Bodhisattvahood. For an arhat, he would never harm any single being. But for a Bodhisattva, he or she is completely for other sentient beings, and he, even at the cost of his life, that is Bodhisattva. And a Buddha of the highest realm, you could say that a Buddha is Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. So he is higher than a Bodhisattva. He comprehends the human world and all the worlds of the living beings and of the non-living beings and the whole phenomena of the universe. Then that would be called the Anuttarak Samyak Sambodhi. And a Buddha does not have to be bound by a reincarnation or rebirth. Like the four sagely paths, Sravaka, Pratika Buddha, Bodhisattva, and Buddha. These four realms are the realms of liberation and body and enlightenment. They are not bound by reincarnation. And the most important goal of our spiritual cultivation is to be liberated from the reincarnation or rebirth of the 6 rebirth realms, to be reborn in the 4 sagely realms. And in the future, after achieving that realm, because of the compassion, you can descend back to the 6 rebirth realms to deliver or to salvage sentient beings. If there is an area when Grandmaster does not provide help, please understand, because Grandmaster is not omnipotent, because even a Buddha has 3 areas that he cannot do, and also Grandmaster cannot do everything. Of course, Grandmaster tries his best to pray to the Yidam and Protector, to my own gurus, to bless all of you, so that all of your wishes can be fulfilled, that everything is auspicious, everything goes really well, and that you have great health and long life and great self-mastery, that in your diligence in spiritual cultivation, you would have attainments in your spiritual cultivation. We leave on the 15th at night, and the flight is early morning on November 16th. So here I would like to say goodbye. I wish all goes well for all of you, and you also wish Grandmaster be healthy and have self-mastery, and that Grandmaster's Dharma propagation goes really well. And just now, if Grandmaster doesn't take good care of you, so Grandmaster would like to say sorry. Very sorry that Grandmaster cannot help you the best it can be. So please forgive Grandmaster for that. So this evening we will talk about the Great Compassion Dharma, the fire division, the fire practice of Great Perfection Dharma. So we were talking about our feelings earlier, and now we would talk about the fire practice of Great Perfection Dharma. It doesn't feel connected. We had such an emotional talk earlier. But it's okay, just listen as you like. Grandmaster loves to tell jokes, so let me share a joke first. There are a number of teachers chatting with each other. A teacher said, I have a student that's always the last in class. And at graduation, the teacher wrote his score. Your scores is always consistent because he's always the last. And the other teacher said, I have a female student that has changed several boyfriends. And the teacher wrote, you get along well with others. So the teachers are very kind. Actually, Grandmaster is also kind-hearted. Grandmaster is this kind of teacher. Grandmaster's heart is always to think of others, not for Grandmaster himself. I can realize my own mistakes, and everyone's always right, and Grandmaster just blame himself for the mistakes. So if Grandmaster makes any mistakes, don't copy that, but you can learn the good part of Grandmaster. And I hope when I return in the future, I can see all of you again, and that you have made great progress. That you've made great progress in your spiritual cultivation, that every one of you is number one. That every one of you is number one. In the future, everyone is number one. So the fire division of Great Perfection Dharma, most importantly, is that there is fire inside our bodies. And this fire is a kind of temperature. So temperature is fire. In Tantrayana, practicing fire, there is the inner fire practice. Like now, it's very cold, and there is a fan here and air conditioning there, and I'm sitting right here. So my nose seems running. No, actually, that was because I was washing my eyes, washing my tear ducts. There are sweats on my eyes. So we say that teary eyes and running nose. So the temperature in our bodies, that's fire. And we have the inner fire practice, is to focus your fire. And the fire division of Great Perfection Dharma is when your fire is totally focused, then you can let the fire to burn your whole body, and then you concentrate it again to become a red light drop, a red colored drop of light. And this red light drop can enter through your crown to the brow, throat, heart, navel, and the secret chakra. It passes through the central channel and passes by the 5 or 7 chakras to the base chakra and the crown chakra. That would be a total of 7 chakras. Typically we say 5 chakras of the brow, throat, heart, navel, and secret chakras on the central channel. And the fire descends through the central channel until the base, and then ascends and then descends, and back ascends and descends and ascends and descends. and primarily is to open the central channel. In the inner practices of Tantrayana, in the great perfection Dharma, in the fire division, is you use visualization to concentrate all of your fire at the crown, and then to enter to the brow, throat, heart, navel, the secret or generative chakra, and back and forth and back and forth. So that's the fire division. There are the tips and tricks of this. If I don't teach you, you would not know. When it passes by the brow chakra, you have to press on this Taiyang acupoint, and the fire would descend to the throat chakra, and then you would press on the Feng Ci acupoint. It's behind the 2 ears. It's next to the 2 blood vessels there. So when you press that acupoints, the fire would pass through the throat chakra. And when it gets to the heart chakra, then you need to press on the Qi Ci acupoints on the wrist. So you need to press on these 3 acupoints, and you need to press on them each for 2 minutes, and it would be very easy to open the central channel this way. This is the key formula. Most people would not know these tips and tricks. When the heat descends from the crown, when it is opening the central channel, it would have obstructions. But if you know this key formula to press the Taiyang acupoints 2 minutes and the Feng Ci acupoints 2 minutes, and then when it arrives at the heart chakra, press on the Qi Ci acupoints for 2 minutes, then the fire would be able to move very smoothly all the way down to navel chakra. This is the most important key formulas. There are a lot of things that needs all these tricks and tips. The husband was going away and came back after a long time, and the wife asked, "So, do you miss me?" And the husband said, "Of course, I was on business trip for 30 days. Every single day I miss you." And the wife jumped up and said, "What? You were on business for 31 days, so who are you thinking of on that one day?" So what is Grandmaster thinking? Who is Grandmaster thinking? I will not tell you. If I say it, then the one that I don't say, then they would scold me. So if I don't say it, everyone would think that Grandmaster is thinking of her. So sometimes we live relying on our thoughts, and in our tantric practices we also rely on our thoughts, but there are also key formulas about it, like how to open the central channel earlier. You want to think that your whole body is pure fire. Like when Grandmaster is performing Homa, they would be thinking, I would think of the fire burning, and I enter into the fire, and the Yidam enters into the fire. So fire, Grandmaster, and the Yidam merge to become one, and the whole body is fire. So at this time, the fire would be ignited, and it would burn all the cells inside the body. And once burned, everything would be purified. So most importantly, in order to be purified, you need to open the central channel. Once the central channel is open and flowing, then you would be purified. And then you make the fire to burn everywhere. Once the central channel is open and purified, you would emit light. So when the central channel is open, then you burn outward, and you burn all the cells. Then you would be like the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. You would have auras around you. There would be the infinite pure light. It would be generated. And on the head, there would be the head aura. And then behind your body, there would be the body aura. And underneath your feet, there would be the lotus aura. When you have attainment in the fire division, that your whole body would emit light. And when the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas see light in your body, that means all the ghosts and gods would also be able to see lights on your body. Last night, Grandmaster told Simu that this few days all the ghosts at our house are packing. I told Simu, right? They have lived at my house for half a year, and now they're packing. Why? Because when Grandmaster leaves, they also leave. And there would be no one left at the house. And the ghosts, it's meaningless for the ghosts to stay because no one made offering of nectar and food to them. So this few days, there are groups and groups of ghosts leaving the house. And this morning when I woke up, and when I got off the bed and took a look, the house was filled with ghosts before, and now it's only far and few in between. And a few more days, they all would leave. So they're packing now. They're all leaving, moving. And I have lived together with the ghosts for this period of time. And they could see me, and I would feel them too. You would be able to feel ghosts. Like when I walk, and then they would go higher, and then they would pass through the wall, and there would be a voice and a sound. They would hide to the wall or anywhere. They would avoid me because they saw Grandmaster's light. There are two places that they like to hide. One is the powder room. They like to hide in there. And the other place is the bar. I rarely go there. I mostly pass through the aisle and not to the bar. If I go in there, sometime there would be lots of sounds. The refrigerator and the wine racks. They like to hide at these two places. Most of the ghosts are there. And they rarely go to my bathroom. But when I sleep at night, there's only a few ghosts hiding inside my bathroom. So when I wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, they would leave really fast. Sometimes when I get off the bed and they didn't notice, so I step on them, then I would have attached spirit on my body, but it's no problem for Grandmaster. Now I like to tell you why sometimes we encounter negative spirits. That's because you don't see them and you walk through their bodies. Then you would encounter these negative spirits attaching to you. If you encounter the ghosts from the east, then you send them off toward the east, or the west, or the north and the south. You send them off. Then you would not have them attached to you anymore. So Grandmaster is teaching you how to send them off. First, you need to know whether the spirit that you bump into is of the north, south, east, or west. If there is a earth god temple, say if you bump into the ghost of the east, then you find the earth god of the east, and then you burn some paper money, the spirit money, some for the earth god and some for the ghost. And then you find a date that is considered the Chu or elimination date, and in the afternoon you send them off. You burn spirit money and send them off. And if Grandmaster is not around and you feel you have spirits attached to you, but you don't know whether it's north, south, east, or west, you can go find Golden Mother and ask her. And you throw the moon block and she would tell you which direction. Then you go to that direction and burn the spirit papers. You can also ask Golden Mother whether you need to burn it at the burner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Because some of the illnesses that you suffer, sometimes it's due to the ghost or spirits. Like if you have headache, you burn it at the first burner. If you have throat problems or ache, that's the second burner. And it's on your chest or on your stomach, it's the third burner. And if it's on the colons, bowels, and the secret area, that's the fourth burner. And the upper legs is the fifth burner, and then the lower legs or feet, then you burn the paper money at the sixth burner. So whatever areas of your body is afflicted, then you burn the paper spirits at the respective burner. And Grandmaster will also teach you which burner corresponds to which direction. And once you know that, you can do it. Or at home, if you have a spirit attached to you, and then you ask Golden Mother by throwing the moon blocks and say it's of the north, of the east, then you face the east in the afternoon on the eliminating date, the true date, and then you send them off. That would be best. You can also send them off on any date, but it is best to choose the true date or eliminating date is to eliminate the negative spirits from your body. So this is considered a Dharma practice. Oh, there's a Tibetan medical doctor. So Tibetan medical doctor, when they prescribe medicine, they would tell you to take it, say, at 3 a.m. in the morning. Why? Or they would say at noon, or at a specific time to take the Tibetan medicine. What are the reasons to do that? Because that's when the qi and the blood is at that area. If that area is afflicted, then you need to take the medicine at that time, is to open the blockage at that area. So the doctor would tell you exactly when to take the medicine. But in the Western countries, they don't have this custom. You have to wait for 3 a.m. to take medicine. That's according to the Tibetan medical doctor. So we have this method in Tantrayana. When you know that the fire has reached your head, then you press on the Taiyang acupoint for 2 minutes, these temples, so that the fire can pass through this part of the channel. And then the Feng Ci acupoints to open the channel at the throat area. And then to pass by the heart chakra, you press on the Qi Ci acupoints on the hands for 2 minutes. If you don't know where they are, ask the Chinese medical doctors about the acupoints. This is a key formula. And the fire that descends is a pure fire, because there are many different kinds of fire. Some is the fire of desire. So the fire of desire burning you. So when you have desire or passion, that's not considered a cool or pure fire. That's considered an impure or complex fire. And there's also the fire of rage, or fire of anger. And this fire is not good. You need to observe yourself. Is it the fire of desire that is being ignited? If it is, then you need to use the cool nectar to cool and calm it down. Whether for spiritual cultivators, man or woman, Sangha or laity, Sometimes it is unavoidable to have the fire of desire. When it rises, then you need the cool nectar to extinguish it. And when you have the fire of rage, oh, that's not good. Like someone is fine, and when they heard a sentence, and all of a sudden they got really enraged, and the face got really red till it's violet, and then they would got stroke and dead. How could it be really fast? Because the fire of rage is really strong. Don't underestimate this fire of rage or this complex fire. If you sit on the toilet and you have constipation, and you need to force yourself, and your face would start to get red, and your fire starts to rise. And if you have hypertension, you have to be careful, because it keeps rising, and all of a sudden you got a stroke, and then you would die on a lotus. The toilet is like a lotus. So you need to avoid this fire of rage, because we say that the fire of rage can burn away all the forests of merits. You would say whatever, and you curse, and you scold on everyone, gods and all the deities, Matsu, and you cannot insult the gods and the ghosts. It is worse to insult the ghost and the gods. If you don't believe it, say when you play mahjong at home, and if you scold it on the mahjong god, what, you make me lose? And you scold it on them, you know, that day you would never win. You cannot insult or offend the gods or the gods. Never insult or offend them. And the fire of rage burn away all your merits. Even if you have done lots of good merits, and then when you're enraged, you say everything, and you start to offend and insult others, and then all your merits are burned away. So you need to observe the fire inside your body. You cannot let the fire of desire or the fire of rage to rise, or the fire of anger, your temper. You have to keep it in check. And there's also the fire, evil fire. That's even worse. Then you have to be admitted into the mental hospital, the psychiatry, or the uncalm fire. It's like this, the nervous or anxiety fire. Like when you try to find something, you have this anxiety. That's a fire of anxiety. And you would walk all over the place in the room and continue saying things. That's the fire of anxiety. These 4 kinds of fire you cannot have. You observe your own mind to maintain the coolness and the purity. And once you produce that, then you would produce the correct fire, the proper fire, and to open the central channel. And then you disperse the fire through all the channels, all the cells, all the skin pores after the central channel is open. Once the central channel is open, you disperse it throughout all the channels and all the cells and all the skin pores. And then you would be able to generate the auras on your head, on your back, and the lotus aura at your feet. Then you would have attainment in your practice. You would have light around you. You would emit light. And Grandmaster has taught about inner fire in the inner fire practice, and also about water, how to make the water descend and how to make the fire ascend. And this is about the pure, the right fire, not the impure or the complex fire. And in our meditation, we always need the cool and pure fire. And in a very cool mind, and the breathing is very even for inhalation and exhalation, and the thoughts almost stop. Only then you would be able to enter into meditation. And only by entering into meditation you would be able to generate wisdom. If fire can enter into your central channel, that means that is the fire of wisdom. And the qi that has entered into the central channel is called the wisdom qi. And the fire that has entered the central channel is called the wisdom fire. And the light drops that has entered into the central channel, that's called purity. So in the Great Perfection Dharma practices, they say that the earth, water, fire, and wind has its function. You would think that where does the fire come from? That's from your temperature. And how do you let the temperature to enter into the central channel? Then I would like to ask you to practice the inner fire as the foundation. Or when you perform Homa, you visualize yourself to enter into the Homa fire and merge with Yidam, and to generate the drop of light at the crown, and to make it descend and ascend and descend and ascend and back and forth. So that is a method to practice the fire samadhi or meditation. And the fire that you generate is not really hot. You will not feel really burn or high fever. You wouldn't feel feverish. You just feel there is warmth, there is temperature, and yet it's still cool. So this kind of meditation is called the fire light samadhi. In Buddhism, there is the water light samadhi and fire light samadhi. When someone practices, they merge with the water, with the ocean, and they would be able to see fishes swimming inside their body. And when he exits from the samadhi, there's a fish inside his body. So he has to enter back into the samadhi to let the fish swim out of his body. But in fire light samadhi, when you are about to enter into extinction, you would have this fire to burn and to burn all the cells to become like ash. The physical body is still there, but your body, Buddha nature, has gone to the Buddha land. The body is there, but when you touch it, it would be like sand. Then all that you leave would be ash or sand. That's the Buddhahood through the firelight samadhi. In the Sheng-Yen, the old monk Sheng-Yen biography, he mentioned that there's the chef, the person in charge of the kitchen, and he trained in this fire, and at the end he has his fire burn his whole body. And then they all saw that at the vegetable garden there is the firelight, and they saw him in the firelight meditation. And when the fire is extinguished, they try to touch him, but the Sheng-Yen old monk said, don't touch him, because if you touch him, then he would become a heap of ash. So the old monk Sheng-Yen wrote this down, recorded this. So a high adept who passed away in firelight samadhi. So you would be able to reach such a realm in this practice. That is not easy. So you need your thought that on top of your crown there is a circle around light red, as big as a grain of rice. The smaller the better. A red color drop of light, and make it ascend and descend, descend. Or if you perform Homa, you visualize yourself inside the fire and you would feel warmth all over your body. You use the power of the mind to let the fire to generate heat and light and power. Om Mani Padme Hum.